Thanks, Sid, for the invitation to be here for the 5th time. I first started coming to these conferences as more of an entrepreneur, selling products and services for ICS security into customers like Shell. And now I'm an entrepreneur trying to avoid any of these people that used to sell me products and services. And over these past 5 years, my message has been pretty consistent, and you can go back and view all the videos we've done. And it is to simplify your world, to bring a community of suppliers together, reduce the complexity, only do the basics, and only do the basics again, and then only do the basics, and continue to operationalize simple security strategies for your organization. And never, ever, 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 or always be allergic to the shiny object technology stuff. So I think I understand now why Sid wanted me on this panel, because for 4 years, anyone who tried to talk about SIM or SOX, I just had this massive allergic reaction. I hijacked every panel and said, what are you guys talking about? Good luck with all this. So with that said, I could go on for hours about what we've done. But I would be trespassing on the rest of the panel because we only have a few minutes left. So it's probably a good thing that I only have a couple seconds. So I'm going to zero in on 2 slides, and then I'll stop. And if anybody wants to talk about our experiences, I'll talk till the end of the day if you'd like to talk about it. I'll skip through all this stuff. This is the slide that resonated the most with the people that we had to sell, onboard, empower, and get into the industrial cybersecurity program at Shell. Now, don't worry about the axes, or just think about the story here. Everybody that starts in this industry, whether you're an end user or you're a consultant, you start with some unknown level of risk, okay? And somebody will sell you that the risk is huge, and some people will deny that risk is even there, but it's there. There is a risk, and the goal is to reduce that risk. But what people forget is this thing called the maturity curve. So let's say you're an initial organization and you start throwing technology on first. I'm sure most of you have started there, okay? And it's very, very expensive. You can see the cost curve on the right-hand side. So suppose a company, a small organization next door, has a great technology solution. They're a small company. Maybe they're venture capital funded, but they've got 15 to 20 people. How do you see that happening in a big company over the next 10 years? They want to get a product to you, and it could be sexy. But how are they going to support version 1 with 15 people for one customer? It's not that great. It needs to evolve with the same team that's doing the development. It's going to have to support, just like Rockwell, Honeywell, Emerson. We have different life cycles than small technology providers are really built to address. What about putting some intrusion detection and SIMs on top of that? Who is going to see the dashboard? And how are they going to do anything with that dashboard? So you can try that. We've tried that. Try and make a change to a system without having a direct line to your vendor. Now, how many vendors have managed service contracts and SLAs to manage security on their devices today? I can see most of my vendors in here, and it took us a long time to get your commercial contracts and maintenance agreements to consider security. But is this resonating with everybody as far as increasing the maturity of your organization, your people, your processes, establishing a governance model? So who's responsible for security? How is that funded? Who owns that budget? It's never been a P&L line item before. Who is going to maintain that? The sexy stuff that somebody shows in a small asset, how are you going to monetize that over a long period of time? What's the change cost? Have anyone done the budget estimates for 10 years? It's very difficult to do that without learning the hard way. And there's a cost associated with regret that very few people try to bring into their PowerPoint presentation to say, I can do all this stuff, it's easy, it's technically feasible to do. You're always reinventing the wheel. So unless you take that into consideration and reinvest money into your basics, you're going to be spending money on sexy technology in perpetuity. Okay, we've learned the story, and I can tell you every technology wonder that's come along for 5 years has come in and gone. And we've gone down to basics, policies, procedures, practices, people, and establishing those across the life cycle. So I can tell you exactly how we did that, but again, I don't want to be rude and trespass on the rest of the panels. But I want to leave this one, because every year I throw out something that's a bit provocative and hope that the next year I come here it's solved. Okay, so we spent the last day and a half talking about digital transformation, okay? And there's a wonderful value proposition for energy, for oil and gas, to take advantage of flat, open, deterministic APIs, standardized, new types of network architectures, decoupled hardware and software. I'm with it. The value proposition's there. There's a gap in time for us to get there. Now, suppose you get security right today, and you get patching in place. You get network segmentation established. You throw a bunch of stuff, network switches and gateways and firewalls and unidirectional gateways and visualization software. Do you think that comes with us on this journey? Anyone? Do you think any of that stuff that you're going to have to pay for a long time is going to transpose to the world of software-defined networks? It's not. So we have a moment here that I don't think we're focusing on the right problem. Do we get the basics in place right now for our traditional estate, our legacy systems? Can we do that with a fixed number of experts? Or should we be taking those experts and helping us build in security to the next generation? I don't think we can do both. And if anyone disagrees, I'd love to chat with you about how we're going to create all of this hybrid IT engineering expertise with people leaving organizations, with people coming in with different aptitudes, different patience levels for the cycles that we have to go through in engineering and in the industrial space. So I think we have a choice. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but there's somebody here that I go way back with. His name's Eric Byers. We have always had differing views on where this industry was going to go. But there's one thing he's been extraordinarily good at, is reading tea leaves. And he could be anywhere right now. He's been very successful in the space. He could be on a beach, but he's back here for some reason. So I think he's also reading the tea leaves, going, how are we going to address this convergence that's happening around us? And it's not an incremental change. It's not adding more stuff. We're going to have to start remarshaling our expertise, our people, our standards bodies to think about the future in order to get that value proposition. Or we'll be stuck with the next intrusion detection system, the next SIM, the next security operations center. So I want us to think about this. And if you want to talk the other stuff, happy to do so. But I'm not sure we have an answer to this. And if the whole conference next year is about digital transformation again, it would be nice to start seeing us making progress towards some meaningful goals there. So I'm going to leave you with that and then concede the rest of my time. And if you want to ask questions, we can do that. Okay? Thanks.